The Goblin conspiracy to keep wizards broke. For all their power, for all their reality-bending magic, most wizards are broke. They can conjure fire and fly on brooms, but they can't escape a simple, crushing reality. The economy feels rigged, and for centuries it seems the architects of this system have watched from behind mountains of gold, sharpening their teeth and smiling. This isn't a story about magic versus muggles. This is about a quiet, brutal economic war between wizards and goblins, a war that wizards have been losing for a very, very long time. Think about it. In a world where you can mend broken bones with a word, or duplicate objects with a flick of your wrist, how can poverty even exist? The Weasleys are considered poor, yet they live in a magical house that cleans itself and they never seem to miss a meal. Remus Lupin, a profoundly powerful wizard, wears patched, shabby robes. This contradiction is at the very heart of the wizarding world. The answer starts with a rule that even the most powerful magic can't break: Gamp's law of elemental transfiguration. Gamp's law has a few exceptions to what magic can create, but the most important one for this theory is simple. You cannot conjure money out of thin air. Galleons, sickles, and nuts aren't just pieces of metal. They're imbued with properties that resist all forms of magical duplication. This single constraint is the bedrock of the entire wizarding economy. It creates scarcity, it forces trade, and it means every witch and wizard, no matter how powerful, has to earn a living. They can't just magic their way to wealth, but this natural limitation is only half the story. The other half feels far more deliberate and far more sinister. It's a system of control, and its name is Gringotts. Gringotts is the only bank in the wizarding world. Let that sink in. A complete monopoly on the financial lifeblood of an entire society. But Gringotts doesn't operate like a modern bank. From everything we see, it doesn't seem to offer loans, provide investment opportunities, or pay interest on your savings. Its primary function appears to be as a glorified safe deposit box. You give them your gold, and for a fee, they keep it safe in their deep, dragon-guarded vaults. Structure has a chilling effect on the economy. With no obvious access to capital, how is a talented but poor wizard supposed to start a business? How can new ideas flourish? It seems they can't. Entrepreneurs have to rely on self-financing or, in rare cases, the charity of wealthy individuals. The most famous example is Fred and George Weasley. Their dream of Weasley's Wizard Wheezes only became a reality after Harry Potter gifted them his Triwizard Tournament winnings. Without that one-in-a-million windfall, their brilliant ideas might have died in their dorm room. You have to wonder if this is an accident. It feels like a feature, not a bug. An economy without lending is an economy without growth. It's a system that preserves the existing order, where the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. Old money families, like the Malfoys who have massive inherited wealth, don't need loans. Their power is secure. It's the ambitious, the innovators, the people who might challenge the status quo, who are kept in their place. The entire system feels designed to stifle social and economic mobility. And who sits at the very center of this system, pulling the levers? The Goblins. To understand why Goblins might maintain such a restrictive system, you have to understand their history with wizards, a history defined by bloodshed, prejudice, and deep-seated resentment. For centuries, wizards have treated goblins as inferior beings, denying them rights, and most critically, forbidding them from carrying wands. This has led to a series of violent goblin rebellions, each one brutally put down by the wizarding establishment. But the conflict runs deeper than just prejudice. It's ideological. In the goblin worldview, the true owner of an object is its maker. When a wizard buys a goblin-forged sword, the goblins see it as a rental for their lifetime. Upon the wizard's death, the sword should rightly return to the goblin clan that made it. Wizards, of course, see it as a final sale, passing down these heirlooms through generations. To goblins, this is just theft. They see wizarding society as one built on stolen treasures. They were pushed into finance because wizards looked down on that kind of work. And so eventually the Ministry of Magic officially handed the goblins control of Gringotts. It was a concession, a way to appease a restless population by giving them dominion over a field wizards disdained. They may not have realized they were handing over the keys to the entire economy. The goblins, masterful metalworkers and financiers, took this role and arguably forged it into a weapon of silent generational revenge. They couldn't win a war with swords, but maybe they could win one with galleons. If this theory is true, the system the goblins oversee is a masterpiece of subtle oppression. By not creating a system of credit or investment, they've effectively frozen the wizarding economy in a pre-industrial state. It's an economy based on hoarding, not flowing capital. Wealth is static, passed down through bloodlines rather than generated through merit. Consider the Weasley family. Arthur Weasley is a hard-working, pure-blood wizard, but his ministry job pays little, and his family is looked down upon for their modest means. There is no clear path for him to improve his station, no way to leverage his skills for greater financial gain. He's trapped. Contrast this with Lucius Malfoy, whose immense inherited wealth translates directly into political power, allowing him to influence the Minister for Magic and shape policy to protect his own interests. And this doesn't look like a meritocracy, it looks like an aristocracy where gold, not talent, dictates your fate. The Goblins watch all of this, knowing that their control of the bank is the linchpin. They are the gatekeepers. By preventing the free flow of capital, they ensure that the wizarding world remains fragmented and stagnant. They keep wizards dependent on the old established power structures that have historically oppressed goblins. It's a cold, calculated strategy. While wizards bicker over blood purity and ministry politics, the goblins maintain their grip on the one thing that truly matters, the money. They've created a society where wizards might have the wands, but goblins have the power. This system of economic control is so deeply embedded that it's almost invisible, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the darker side of the wizarding world, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more. Now, I want to know what you think. Is this a deliberate goblin conspiracy, or are they just cogs in a broken system they inherited? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Of course, the goblins aren't acting in a vacuum. They can only maintain this stranglehold because of what appears to be staggering incompetence and corruption from the Ministry of Magic. The Ministry, rather than fostering a competitive and dynamic economy, operates like a massive, inefficient monopoly. It seems to be the largest single employer in the wizarding world, controlling everything from law enforcement to education. This creates a culture of dependency. Why take the risk of starting a business when a safe, if uninspiring, ministry job is the default career path? The Ministry's regulatory overreach is just as damaging. We see officials like Percy Weasley obsessing over standardizing cauldron bottom thickness, a perfect example of useless bureaucracy that could crush consumer choice and competition. This kind of red tape creates high barriers to entry for any new business, further cementing the power of the old economic order. Plus, the Ministry's structure, with power centralized in a minister who isn't democratically elected, makes the system ripe for corruption. Wealthy purebloods like Lucius Malfoy can buy influence, ensuring that no reforms ever threaten their position or the economic status quo. So the Ministry is, in effect, a willing partner in this whole situation. Whether it's through sheer incompetence or active corruption, it upholds the very structures that keep the wizarding population financially suppressed, allowing Gringotts to operate without any challenge or oversight. Here's the truly terrifying part. Even if wizards woke up tomorrow and decided to change the system, they probably couldn't. Gringotts isn't just a monopoly, it is the entire financial sector. It's what you'd call too big to fail in the most extreme sense. If Gringotts were to collapse or even just be seriously disrupted, the entire wizarding economy would pretty much vanish overnight. Think about it. Every galleon in every pocket and vault is tied to that one institution. Any attempt to break it up or fundamentally change it could trigger an economic catastrophe. The cure could be worse than the disease. The goblins have to know this. Their monopoly is their ultimate security. They've made themselves so indispensable, so intertwined with the very fabric of society that to remove them would be to invite total chaos. Wizards are trapped. They handed control of their economy to a people they despised, and now, centuries later, they find themselves completely at their mercy. The poverty and economic stagnation of the wizarding world aren't just a quirky background detail. You could argue they're the result of a deliberate centuries-long power play. It began with the wizarding world's own prejudice, which pushed goblins into a corner. But from that corner, the goblins arguably engineered a system of perfect, silent revenge. They built a financial prison, one without bars but with vaults. A system where wizards are kept perpetually dependent, unable to achieve true economic freedom. While wizards look to the Ministry for leadership and wield magic as their power, they fail to see where the real authority lies. The real power isn't in a wand or a ministry decree, it's in the deep, cavernous vaults beneath Diagon Alley, where a people with a long memory and a longer grudge control the flow of gold. Wizards may have the magic, but the goblins have the money, and they've used it to ensure that wizards will always in some way be kept in their place.